TV sucks, man.
So the other day, I'm sitting there watching Severance. I think it's a pretty good show, by the way. But I realized something halfway through. I had absolutely no idea what had happened in season 1. Like, zero memory. And it's not because I'm getting old or because the show's bad. Far from it. It's because it's been 3 goddamn years since the first season came out. 3 years for 1 season of television.
Well, in dog years, that's an eternity.
And it was at that moment I really started thinking, when I was a kid, I could tell you every single episode of The X-Files. I can still quote Buffy episodes from memory. I know exactly what happens in The Best of Both Worlds from Star Trek The Next Generation, and I haven't seen it in like a decade or longer. I can't remember what happened last season on most modern shows because by the time the new season drops, I've already lived an entire life, moved to a different city, changed careers, and possibly died of old age. So that's what I want to touch on today. I want to talk about why episodic television was way better than what we have now. Because in all honesty, we've been sold a lie that modern TV's somehow superior, and I'm calling bullshit.
You suck, you jackass.
Howdy, and thanks for clicking on this video to see what this jackass has to say. I appreciate you. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name's Chris, and I like to deep dive on television and movies from yesteryear. I like to think I channel Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino.
Get off my lawn.
More of that, less of the racism, but anyway, thanks for stopping by. So let's paint a little picture. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, you'd get a show like The X-Files or Star Trek The Next Generation, and you knew exactly what you were getting. 22, sometimes 24, 26 episodes per season. And by modern standards, that's a whole lot of television. And you know what? You turn on any random episode, drop right in, and just enjoy it. No homework required, no needing to remember what happened 3 seasons ago in episode 4 at the 17-minute mark. Just damn good TV. Now, we're lucky if we get 8 episodes. 8. And these shows take like 3 years to come back. I mean, Stranger Things is about to come back, but it's been gone so long that those kids are gonna need walkers by the time season 5 actually drops. I'm only partially kidding. Season 4 came out in 2022, and we're not getting the finale until late 2025. That's over 3 years. The kids literally aged out of being kids. Hell, the first season came out in 2016. And as I mentioned before, Severance. The show ended on the most insane cliffhanger, and it took almost 3 years to get to season 2. By the time it came back, I'm just sitting here going, wait, what the hell was happening again? I mean, the show is literally about people who can't remember their lives, and now the audience can't remember the show. Ironically, that's some meta bullshit right there. And here's what I think is really starting to get to me. These modern shows, the serialized ones that everyone acts like are the second coming, well, they're basically just long movies chopped up into pieces. And sure, some of them are really good. Breaking Bad, incredible. The Sopranos, the best TV show ever made, in my humble opinion, of course.
Oh.
But here's the thing, not every show is Breaking Bad. Not every story needs to be this sprawling 10-hour epic where if you miss one episode, you're completely lost. And the really crazy part is that these shows cost an absolutely stupid amount of money. The Rings of Power, Amazon's Lord of the Rings show, reportedly cost over $465 million for just the first season. That ain't a typo. Nearly $500 million for 1 season of television. And you know what? I think that show's ass.
It's really not good, man.
Meanwhile, back in the day, shows were cranking out quality content with a fraction of that budget. Star Trek The Next Generation gave us 178 episodes of exploring strange new worlds and asking big philosophical questions. Buffy the Vampire Slayer delivered 144 episodes of horror, comedy, drama, and some of the best character work ever put on television. The X-Files gave us 218 episodes, 218 of aliens, monsters, and some damn good government conspiracies. And I think the real difference is that those shows understood something that modern TV's completely forgotten. You need time to build a relationship with characters. Not just watch them, but actually spend time with them. When you're getting 20 plus episodes a season, you get to see characters in different situations. You get big dramatic episodes, sure, but you also get the weird ones, the funny ones, the ones where they're just hanging out being people. I'll give you a perfect example. When Xander left Anya at the altar in Buffy, I mean, that hurt. It genuinely hurt to watch because we'd spent years with these characters. We'd seen them grow, we'd seen them fall in love, we'd seen all their little moments that made their relationship real. So when Xander screwed it up, it wasn't just, oh no, a plot twist. It was heartbreaking because we as an audience actually cared. We were disappointed in him like we would be a friend. Same thing with Michael Scott leaving the office. That wasn't just a character exiting a show. It felt like losing a friend because we'd spent years with Michael. We'd seen him be an idiot. We'd seen him grow. We'd seen him try so hard to be loved. All those little moments across those episodes built something that you just can't get in 8 episodes per season. And at its core, I think that's what these serialized shows are truly missing. They're so focused on the big story, the big plot, that they forget about the little stuff. The stuff that makes characters feel like real people instead of just chess pieces moving around on a board. Now, I know there are some episodic shows out there. Bob's Burgers is still doing its thing, giving us fun standalone stories every week. Law & Order's on like its 800th season or something. I honestly don't even know what the number is, but that show's been on my entire life. And it's still chugging along apparently. But here's where I think the problem is. Nobody cares about those shows anymore. They fall by the wayside compared to whatever Taylor Sheridan is doing this week or whatever new prestige drama just dropped on Netflix. So that brings me to another massive problem with modern TV, the schedule. Or should I say the complete lack of one. Back in the day, TV had a rhythm. Shows would premiere in September, you'd get a new episode every single week, maybe a few repeats around the holidays, and then you'd hit the big cliffhanger finale in May. You knew that when September rolled around again, you'd get your answers. It was predictable, it was reliable, and you know what? That was great. Now shows just drop whenever the hell they feel like it. There's no schedule, no rhythm, nothing to look forward to on a regular basis. Stranger Things Season 4 came out in summer of 2022. Season 5 won't be done until early 2026. That's not a TV show at this point. That's a rare astronomical event. Like Halley's Comet, but with more 80s nostalgia. Now we're getting less content that takes longer to make and costs way more money. The budgets are through the roof, the episode counts are in the toilet, and the wait times are measured in years instead of months. It's completely backwards. And eventually, you know what that does? It kills momentum. It kills community. Because when a show takes 3 years between seasons, people move on with their lives. They forget. They stop caring. And when it finally comes back, half the audience has to spend the first 3 episodes going, wait, who's that guy again and why do we hate him? Compare that to the old model. When you're getting a new episode every single week for 6 or 7 months, the show becomes part of your life. You talk about it with your friends or coworkers. You theorize about what's going to happen next. You actually form communities around these shows because there's always something new to discuss. Now it's like a show drops its entire season on a Friday, and by Monday, everyone's either finished it or had it spoiled for them. There's no shared experience anymore. No more water cooler talk. Just a bunch of people at different points in the same show trying desperately to avoid spoilers. Now let's address the whole prestige TV thing for a second. Yeah, of course, some of these serialized shows are really well written. Some of them are gorgeous to look at, but a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them, are just stretching a 2-hour movie into 8 hours of television. They're padded as hell. If you took half these modern shows and cut them to a tight 3 or 4 episodes, honestly, they'd probably be better. But instead, we get 8 to 10 episodes where half of them are just treading water until the big finale. And really, the old episodic model didn't have that problem. Every episode had to tell a complete story. You had to have a beginning, a middle, and an end in 42 minutes. So what that did was it forced writers to be disciplined. It forced them to make every scene count. You couldn't waste time because you didn't have time to waste. And you know what that created? Variety. When you've got 22 episodes in a season and each one is its own story, you can try different things. You can do a horror episode, then a comedy episode, then a drama episode. You can experiment with different tones and styles without derailing the whole season. They tried that in the new Daredevil season, and honestly, I think it derailed most of what happened. And Buffy was the GOAT at this. It did it brilliantly. You'd get an episode like Hush where almost nobody talks for the entire episode, and it's terrifying and brilliant. Then you get Once More with Feeling, which is a full musical episode. Then you'd get The Body, which is, in my opinion, one of the most devastating hours of television ever made, with no music and no supernatural stuff, just real, raw grief. And you can't do that with 8-episode seasons where every episode has to advance the main plot. There's no room to breathe, no room to experiment, no room to just let characters be characters. We as a viewer have a hard time bonding and building relationships with these characters. And here's something else I think we've lost: rewatchability. Those old episodic shows, you can watch them over and over again. You can drop in on your favorite episodes whenever you want. You don't need to commit to rewatching the entire series, although I do recommend it. You can just go back and enjoy the episodes you love. Now, if you try to do that with a serialized show, you can't just watch episode 6 of Breaking Bad out of context. You're committed to the whole thing or nothing. And yeah, Breaking Bad is worth that commitment, but not every show is Breaking Bad, as I've mentioned before. Now, studies have actually shown that people rewatch episodic shows way more than serialized ones. And there's a good reason for that. Episodic shows are comfort food. They're familiar. They're reliable. You know what you're getting. When life is chaotic and stressful, sometimes you just want to watch a comforting episode of a show you love. Not commit to a 10-hour emotional roller coaster with characters you probably don't even like that much. And now let's talk about stakes. Modern TV is obsessed with stakes.
Did you say steak?
Everything has to be life or death, end of the world, fate of humanity stuff. And sure, high stakes can be exciting, but when everything is high stakes all the time, it stops meaning anything. Honestly, it's exhausting. You know what I think also has stakes? Smaller, personal stories. Watching a character struggle with a tough decision. Watching relationships develop and change. Watching someone deal with everyday problems. Those have stakes too. Sometimes I think those are far more interesting because they're more relatable. The X-Files understood this. Yeah, they had the big mythology episodes about alien conspiracies and government cover-ups, but they also had the Monster of the Week episodes where Mulder and Scully would investigate some weird small town thing. And both types of episodes were great. Both had stakes, but the variety kept things interesting. Nowadays, everything is mythology. Everything is the big story. And honestly, I think it gets boring. When every episode is trying to be the most important episode ever, then none of them are. And here's the truth that I don't think anybody in Hollywood wants to admit. Shorter seasons and longer waits aren't about quality. They're about money. It's cheaper to make 8 episodes than 22. It gives streaming services more shows to market with less actual content. And it lets them keep you subscribed for longer because you're always waiting for the next season of something. But for us viewers, it's not better. We're getting less content. We're waiting longer. We're forming weaker connections with characters. And we're losing the simple pleasure of just being able to turn on the TV and watch a good episode of a show we love without needing to remember what happened in the previous 37 episodes. And look, I'm not saying all serialized TV is bad. I'm not saying we should go back to everything being episodic, but we've completely lost the balance. We've thrown out a format that worked for decades because we decided that everything needs to be important and serious and epic. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just want to watch an episode where the crew of the Enterprise encounters a weird space anomaly and figures it out by the end of the episode. Sometimes I want to watch Buffy fight a vampire and make a joke about it. Sometimes I just want a complete story that doesn't require me to remember 43 plot threads and subscribe to a Reddit to understand what the hell is happening. The old episodic shows weren't dumb or simplistic or unsophisticated. They were generous. They welcomed new viewers. They gave you complete stories. They let you form real relationships with characters over hundreds of episodes. They experimented and tried new things, and most importantly, they were there for you week after week like clockwork. Now we've got shows that cost $500 million, give us 8 episodes, and then disappear for 3 years. The budgets are higher, the episode counts are lower, and the wait times are absolutely insane. And somehow we're supposed to act like this is better. It's not better, it's just different, and honestly, I think we've lost something important. We've lost reliability. We've lost variety. We've lost the simple pleasure of spending time with characters we love on a regular basis. So yeah, you may think I'm just a grumpy person yelling about how things were better back in the day, but you know what? Sometimes things actually were better back in the day, and when it comes to the episodic versus serialized debate, I'll take 22 episodes of Buffy, Supernatural, The X-Files, over 8 episodes of whatever expensive prestige drama Netflix is going to cancel after 2 seasons. At least with those old shows, I got to actually finish the story. Can't say the same for half the stuff streaming services make these days. Anyway, that's my rant. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I completely wrong? Do you love the new 8-episode format, or do you miss the days when TV shows actually stuck around long enough to become part of your life? Do me a favor, hit that like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more takes like this. I talk movies, I talk pop culture, I talk television shows, I talk a little sports. You never know what you might find on this channel, so hop on in and let's go for a ride. As always, the opinions in this video were mine and mine alone, but what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends.
Don't know shit. I'm just a jackass of all trades. Don't